Gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Blocks, the podcast where we explore smart real estate investments and also upcoming investment opportunities. Today, we're going to be talking about a particular real estate project that's been making the waves, right, in the real estate space in Nigeria. And with me here is a seasoned property consultant with a reputable company that's going to be going into the nitty-gritty and to share the details of this particular estate. It's nice to have you there, sir.
Oh, it's good to see you again after a long time. The last interview was so impactful and exciting.
Exactly.
You're welcome once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so I know that we started talking about the estates, which you may need to know it's called Emeraldy.
Yes.
Right. So I had a lot of questions from people, that wanted me to buttress the point on what it means, what smart living basically means. Essentially, do that.
One thing I just want to say that there's one thing that is very peculiar to Meritable Nigeria, the owners and developers of Emerald right? His ability to get a land in a place that the ROI, return on investment, is something that you can take home or something you can take to the market. And that's what we do at Edward. We try to look for property that is well secure, well mapped, and when you see that we have as I said, the ROI estate, that when you buy, it's not all lands that appreciate fast. Like people say around the year, there's a misconception about that thing. That's some lands you buy, the level at which the appreciation of the land goes very slow. While in some areas, you look at the rate of percentage at which it grows. And Emerald is one estate that the ROI, return on investment, provides very, very fast.
Okay, so it's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Based on its proximity
to the airport, where the place is located, and the most part of the beautification of the estate, the mapping of the estate is excellent. Because another thing for you to get a property with very nice location, the ability to put a lot of infrastructures in the place that will enhance the beauty of the place is another thing. And that's what Emerald is all about.
Okay. It's really nice. So looking at the aspect of the ROI and talking about, part of the reason is why a lot of people, or why real estate in itself has some properties, let me use this word, some properties, some land investments basically don't really appreciate as much is about is documentation. So, you've only looked at, when you shed light on the amenities, on the beautification, on the proximity of Emerald within the question, right? How about the documentation? Is it something that, that gives an advantage to the property itself? Is it something we can ban on?
If you put into our last discussion in the last interview, I talked about an estate that is not secure. When you say land is secure, it's not all about the security that's in place that I talked about. The documentation and the title of the document of the land is another thing that we have to look into.
Yes.
And that's what Emerald carries. The property, the title of the property is allocation, government allocation, and it shows that the government and the government allocated the land to us. So it's perfectly secure. So security are the two places. The normal security is in an estate and mention, but there's no crime and everything. There's a security that seals the land, that whatever happens, we have your own document to show that this one is legally allocated by the government.
So I can buy the property and go to see the
go to start.
I'm different from many
exactly. I talked about high return on investment. Those are the things that have value to any properties we can talk about. We have the paper, the property processes. So if we have the one that doesn't really have documentation like that, you see the way that which is made. But Emerald title 100% sealed and Lagos State governments.
Okay, and I actually think that we've covered most because, everything that needs to be talked about here has basically been spoken of.
Yeah.
The layout, you mentioned something last time, it's going to be in zones, right?
Yeah.
free builds.
The buildings,
There,
the residential,
and then
the commercial, the actual people too. And just a big note of this, we do all this, especially for commercial, that you can buy minimum you can buy is 1,200 square meter. And the reason for this, so that you have a one layout with car parks, like we have the 3B zone for 450 square meter, and also that's why we do in category, so that when you get to the estate, whichever parts you go to, the kind of structures and buildings that we have, tenancies and all. That's where the estate is all.
So and it's the layouts like commercial is in this part still.
And then the street build, the commercial is in
the other limits I can imagine.
If you notice the way they are building estate these days, the other limits have to be there, so that you don't see houses just parked anywhere. And that's why we think we are putting in place with to make it habitable. Yeah. And look at it, we're talking about estate that's eco-friendly and all that. We have to put all those things in place so that everybody within the estate will enjoy all the facilities there.
Okay, so imagine I'm buying this right now. How soon can I commence development?
What we will do and my property is stable distance allocation. As you subscribe to the property, you are allocated more. I told you, from the last time we had the interview, the estate is fast selling.
Really?
I've seen a reasonable number of plots.
I know you came from this podcast. So I know you had customers from this podcast.
We got you now. We got you.
But not only me, obviously.
And a lot of people that are going to subscribe, everything is there. So we have all those things that are well mapped out. And once you buy your land, you get your install value.
And it allows for you to commence building
immediately. It's ready to build. You say it's not, there's something called land banking in real estate.
Yes.
Land banking is already applicable to MRB because many places buy and build immediately. So that will tell you the level at which development is going to be rapidly in place in that place. So, and that's the ROI we're talking about. Yeah. Imagine within a year, you have buildings spread up in all those areas. Imagine what they're producing.
Yeah.
And the airport is coming very soon. I think in February 20th about our account because the government signed the airport.
Yes, I saw it in the news.
So that makes people on the anti go down to come to Ikeja to fly. So that should tell you the level of knowledge within the artist. It's an answer you don't want to miss. That's just position.
That's the genre.
That is the wrong yourself.
Okay, so I'm just going to give like a minute to pitch because you said something that a lot of people came through this podcast today. So imagine I'm not here, right? Imagine you're speaking to the potential customers. What will you say to them? What exactly are you going to say to them that will get them to, take that buying decision right away? What is the fact?
Every time I have an opportunity to speak to people about buying properties or anything like that, whatever, if the intent and the willingness and the zeal to say, well, I want to make up my mind to have properties there, that would be first step. And I'm telling you, with all the things we will be talking about, the things that catchy things within that item is something that is the law for anybody. Because if you look at the property, they are selling billions now. They are selling hundreds of millions now. If you backtrack and ask them, you will realize that all this money is just their level. But for you to forecast an ability to see ahead and say, this is what this place is going to turn to. Do you know, going towards that like this, civilization and development ends at Moko, and they are going to the island. Then, every road from that side leads to all these effects that are just very tiny road. Whoever imagine that all those areas is going to be something, people like it is fun or something at that time. So we have been in the states in the past, thinking some areas will not develop for us not to be able to Lagos for that matter. So is that having enough information to know that exists is already a good vibe? That's it. When we're talking about Lekki-Epe Expressway, we're not even talking about the state that is just coming up. It's already established with a lot of infrastructure in the area. So take that opportunity, leverage on it, and get the properties for yourself. I'll watch it within the thinking of an IB, the rate on investment. Investment is never use of value.
Thank you so much once again for coming. All right, so how do we contact you?
I want to visit our website www.verytabot.com. We have our Instagram handle at Verytabot Nigeria. So it's again also have the number showing on your screen. Call us or you'll be glad to do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bankley. It's really nice having you here. Okay, now I'm all guys. Thank you so much and Like he mentions, there is the Instagram handle, and you can also call the numbers showing on your screen to secure your own plots right now in Emerald.